For the past 4 years, the American Fork Lady Cavemen basketball team has only had one goal: to win a state championship. They were in the championship game in 2014, but just couldn't get the finish, then came close again in 15 and 16, yet they were eliminated in the semifinal round. Not again, they said. They decided this year would be different.
It's super frustrating when every single year you feel like you're right on the cusp of it and then just getting shut down year after year. But I think this year a lot of us realized that it was really our last shot. And I know that we wanted to do it for Coach because it was his last shot too. And there was a lot of we made the decision before we stepped on the court every game that we were going to be the champions at the end of the week.
It just started from the beginning of the season when we all had a goal, and that's just kind of what we worked for. And then before each game, he sat us down and we did drills that would help us with that game. And then we just he told us, after we've worked hard and learned all this stuff, forget about it and go and do what you guys do.
This season, you could really see the difference between the Cavemen and other teams. They had a near perfect season, going 21-1, beating powerhouses like Pleasant Grove, Lone Peak, and Copper Hills. It makes you wonder exactly what changed.
We changed our strategy about halfway through last year. We played a traditional style up to that point. And last year, about halfway through, right before our region began, we decided we were going to amp up the pressure and amp up the pace of play and turn kids loose as far as shooting. And we want to try to get as many shots as we could.
And for players like Taylor Mowiaki, this new strategy made the game more enjoyable.
I think our coaches did a really good job of taking off the pressure a little bit, of knowing that if we work our hardest, then you're going to be successful even if you lose. Just going out and having the goal of having as much fun as you can, knowing that it was the last game, that was what I think took the pressure off and allowed us to play our best.
The pressures may have been off in game situations, but the pressures were on off the court, making players like Franson work extra hard to reach their goal.
The amount of dedication that it takes is I personally I lose sleep over it because I wake up an extra hour before school and I'll go do lifting or whatever, and then just sacrificing a lot of nights for training sessions in the gym or working with lifting coaches and skill coaches, and then giving up weekends because you're traveling for tournaments. And it's worth it in the end.
Although being good at basketball is a sacrifice on and off the court, it all paid off when the Lady Cavemen reached the tournament and came up against some tough teams.
Such a different playing environment than region is, just because it's so cutthroat. I think the hardest game, Copper Hills, I think they matched up with us really well.
During the championship game, American Fork was ahead most of the game, but the Vikings then went on a 13-point streak and caught up. However, American Fork wasn't worried because they knew they were fully prepared.
I never actually was nervous at all during that time. I wasn't concerned that we were going to lose the lead because the way we play, that's what happens. Teams make runs. But I knew that we were going to make a run as well, and I was afraid if I call a timeout right now, that's going to put that seed of doubt in my kids' head. And I knew they had been used to playing that way. They were calm. They looked confident. So I was like, they're going to be fine if we just let them play.
Just mentally preparing, I think, for the most part, because all the other stuff preparing basketball-wise had taken care of itself at that point.
Trust in the system, trust in us, trust in what we've decided to do. That was repeated a lot this year. Just if we do what we're going to do, no matter what happens in the fourth quarter, we're going to be the ones on top because that's how we've played all year, and that's how we're going to get it done.
At the end of the game, the Cavemen finally sealed it with a title and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I was really satisfied. Not really for me so much, but for the kids, because they had worked for 4 years. That had been their goal. They had been close several times, and I was really happy for them.
No, it's a different feeling. To finally have that and to have that feeling, it's almost indescribable to have everything that you've been working for all culminate and happen, and it just feels so good, and it's the best feeling. I don't even know how to put it into words, just how happy that moment was.
It's just a moment that we'd all been imagining, picturing for a really long time. So it was just the best 20 minutes of my life was after the game.
Taylor Moeaki was not only named tournament MVP, but completed her personal goal she's been working towards for 9 years and received a scholarship to play for Dixie State University in the fall. But she says she couldn't have done it without her team.
None of that would have happened if, you don't have a team behind you. I've just been constantly surrounded by such good players and such good coaches, and that's what has helped me develop as a player.
Whereas Coach Clayton's thoughts are a bit different.
It's rare to have a player like that. As good as she is as a player, she's even a better person, and she's an amazing leader. She just does so much work outside of our program that people don't see. Like, she works hard when no one's watching, and she deserves all the things that she has coming her way because she's an amazing player, the best I've ever coached.
So what happens after the final win? Well, there's a lot of crying, cutting down the net, kissing the trophy, and sliding on a ring. But what happens after that? For Moeaki and Franson, it's simple. Keep playing just for a new team. Although for Coach Clayton, it's time to put down the whistle.
I mean, almost a third of my life I've been the head coach here, so, which is crazy to think about, and it's been one of the joys of my life. And I've been really fortunate to have not only good players, but really great coaches on my staff. But there's other things that I want to be able to do, and my family has really sacrificed for the last 20 years while I've coached, and I think it's just time. I'm tired. I want to try some other things.
With the Lady Cavemen losing 8 seniors and their coach, key players will need to step up and do their part.
But not only are we losing seniors, we're losing our coach too. So the program definitely is going to change that way. But I definitely will have to step up with scoring. But next year is going to be a big, rebuilding.
So they'll rebuild, but they'll never forget the time they were the very best in the state.